What if Leviathan was never meant to be understood as a normal creature at all? Because when Scripture describes Leviathan, it doesn't describe an animal. It describes something terrifying. Fire in its breath, fear in its presence, power that no human can control. And this is where it gets crazy. The Bible doesn't treat Leviathan as myth, it treats it as real. So the question is simple. What is Leviathan really? And the answer takes us from the Bible into ancient forbidden texts and into mysteries most people have never been taught. Leviathan is first revealed in the Book of Job, not as a legend, not as poetry, but as a direct revelation from God himself. Job had lost everything: his family, his wealth, his health, his peace. And in his suffering, Job cries out to God, questioning him, asking for understanding. So in Job chapters 40 and 41, God doesn't give Job an explanation. He gives him a revelation. God introduces one of his most terrifying creations, Leviathan, a massive sea-dwelling being, a creature of the deep, a force so powerful that Scripture says no human can tame it. Job 41 describes Leviathan in disturbing detail. Fire comes from its mouth, smoke pours from its nostrils, its breath can ignite coals. Its scales are sealed like armor. Weapons are useless against it. Harpoons cannot capture it. Spears cannot pierce it. And God says something chilling. Can you draw out Leviathan with a hook? Will he make a covenant with you? Will you take him as a servant forever? In other words, this is not a creature humans dominate. This is not something mankind controls. And then God says something even deeper. None is so fierce that dares stir him up. Who then is able to stand before me? This is the core message. God is telling Job, if you cannot stand before my creation, how could you stand before me? And this is where the meaning shifts. Leviathan isn't just a creature. Leviathan is a statement of power. For centuries, scholars tried to explain Leviathan as a dinosaur, a sea reptile, an extinct animal, a prehistoric monster. But there's a problem. No fossil record shows a creature that breathes fire. No marine species has armored scales described like Scripture. No extinct reptile matches the biblical description. And this is where it starts to get strange, because the Bible doesn't describe Leviathan like biology. It describes Leviathan like something supernatural. And then Isaiah 27:1 changes everything. In that day the Lord with his sore and great and strong sword shall punish Leviathan the piercing serpent, even Leviathan that crooked serpent, and he shall slay the dragon that is in the sea. Did you catch that? Leviathan is called a serpent, a dragon, a piercing being, a crooked being, and God doesn't just defeat it. He punishes it. That language matters because punishment is not for animals. Punishment is for rebellion. This is where many theologians believe Leviathan is not simply a beast, but a fallen entity, a spiritual being, a supernatural power. Something aligned with chaos, something aligned with rebellion, something that opposes divine order. Now here's where it gets even crazier. The Book of Enoch, the ancient text removed from the modern Bible, expands the entire supernatural worldview. Enoch doesn't present the world as just physical, it presents it as layered. Heaven, earth, the deep, the abyss, the spiritual realms. In Enoch, fallen angels are not metaphors. They are rulers, watchers, entities assigned to regions, domains, realms, and according to ancient tradition tied to Enochic theology, Leviathan is not just a creature. Leviathan is a principality of the deep, a ruler of the waters, a guardian of chaos, a force assigned to the abyss, not just a monster, but a cosmic being. This connects perfectly with Isaiah calling it a serpent and dragon. Because in ancient theology, serpent equals chaos power, dragon equals ancient spiritual force, sea equals abyss, waters equals chaos. Leviathan represents primordial chaos, the opposite of divine order. This is why God alone can destroy it. This is why no man can tame it. This is why no weapon can subdue it. This is why it's punished, not hunted. And this is why Leviathan is never captured in history, because you can't imprison a spiritual principality. Leviathan is more than a creature. It's a symbol of chaos, pride, rebellion, power without submission, creation without obedience. And God uses it to teach Job something profound. Nothing in creation stands equal to God. Not angels, not entities, not beasts, not powers, not chaos. Even Leviathan is under his authority. And this is the part most people miss. The Bible doesn't just show us Leviathan to scare us. It shows us Leviathan to remind us. If God controls chaos, if God rules the deep, if God governs the abyss, then what are we actually afraid of? If this fascinated you, the Leviathan mystery, the fallen beings, the hidden spiritual realms, the ancient knowledge, then you need to read the Book of Enoch, because this is just the surface. The Book of Enoch goes into the Watchers, the fallen angels, forbidden knowledge, ancient technology, hybrid beings, spiritual hierarchies, hidden realms, cosmic judgment. These are the mysteries that were removed, the knowledge that was buried, the history most people were never taught. I've linked the Book of Enoch below this video. If you want to understand Leviathan, the fallen realm, the Watchers, the giants, the ancient world, the supernatural order, start there. Because once you read it, you'll realize the Bible isn't missing information. It's surrounded by it, and this is only one of those mysteries.